This is Pod Strangely Warmed, a place where we tell the good Methodist story, where we have conversations that invite followers of Jesus to seek after that loving, just, and free world that God imagines for us all, and have a little fun along the way. Hey, Pod Strangely Warm family, Daniel Hawkins coming to you today from Abilene, Texas. We find ourselves at the Uniting Annual Conference that will form the Horizon Texas Conference. Our three legacy conferences of Central Texas, North Texas, and Northwest are coming together today in a room that is just behind you. As we sit here in the lobby to unify those three conferences and officially form together the Horizon Texas Conference. A lot of work has come into today, and a lot of work still remains as we make our journey toward the horizon. As we gather over the course of this day, you're going to hear from any number of people, some who we know are coming and some who I don't know yet, but will be on because we pulled them aside and said, hey, let's chat. So I hope you enjoyed today's episode and get to know a few new faces and some old ones as we move toward the horizon together. Jordan Cramer, we tried to get you on the podcast at the last meeting of the Central Texas Annual Conference and got our wires crossed. And so we're glad that you are here today. We're also glad that you made it easy for us to find you today. Jordan's rocking the best suit jacket here at the Uniting Conference at the Horizon Texas Conference. Jordan, you've spent some time in both annual conferences, or at least the North Texas and the Central Texas conferences. Tell us a little bit about kind of what you love about each place that you hope to see as we become Horizon Texas together.
Yeah, actually what I love about both Central Texas and North Texas is the connectionalism that I believe we're deeply rooted in as United Methodists, and just getting people connected, finding common ground to tell our story, to maximize care and healing, all of our missional priorities. I grew up in Central Texas at Richland Hills, now City Point, UMC, and developed a really good relationship of knowing how to connect with people. And pastors, laity have taught me well how to do that in Central Texas. And people in North Texas, wash, rinse, repeat. You know, they do the same thing. I love that. And that's why when I see a cross and flame, I see home, I see hope, I see connectionalism. I don't have any other answer other than connectionalism, and they're both really good at it. And I'm looking forward to doing that with the folks from the legacy of Northwest Texas.
Home, hope, and connection.
Yeah.
That symbol in the cross and flame for you is beautiful and profound, and something we hope not just for you and for me to know, but for generations of folks to know. I know just last weekend, or 2 weekends ago, you were at Bible camp at Glen Lake Camp. My fourth grader was there, and third through sixth graders from across the Central Texas Conference were at Bible camp at Glen Lake. What does it mean for you in the multitude of roles that you take within the church to champion children and youth and to be invested so that generational impact, that identity that you have with United Methodist Church doesn't stop with our generation and is carried to the next?
So I have two girls, a 4-year-old and a 7-year-old, and I've had the fortunate privilege of leading worship at camp over the last few summers. And every time I introduce myself, I say, my name is Jordan Cramer, and my first time at Glen Lake was when I was 12, and I remember finding Jesus at this place. Glen Lake means a lot to me, and it means a lot that I get to lead worship and watch young students grow in their relationship with Christ, learning to how they tell their story, right? And I want to empower them to do that, and through worship I can do that. And through being at Glen Lake, I can do that by championing them to say, hey, this is holy ground. And my daughters get to come with me and experience that. They may not be at the right age to sign up for camp, but you know, when you get to lead worship, you get a couple of leniencies. And Darren, when you know Darren Miller, he helps you out a little bit. Yep. They get to experience that, and they see the wonder that is Glen Lake, and they're learning how to tell their story through places like Glen Lake. I love it, man. Being able to help them figure out their walk with Christ is one of the greatest joys in my life, and I will always do that with them.
I hope you're listening, leaders of the camping ministries across the forming Horizon Texas Conference. Jordan just said he will always do that, and so hold him to it. From now till Jesus comes, Jordan's leading worship. He'll be 75 and leading worship. Jordan, thank you so much for popping in with us. As we get ready to say goodbye today, is there anybody you want to give a shout out on the podcast today?
Yeah, actually, I want to give a shout out to Amy Tate Almy, who is now a deacon, who took me to my very first week at Glen Lake Camp, and that meant a lot to me. So, Amy, shout out to you. You're awesome, and of course, shout out to my beautiful, awesome bride Sharon, who is awesome.
Very good. Jordan, thank you so much for stopping by, and I'm glad we caught you this time.
Man, thank you.
Absolutely, this is fun. Thanks for popping in, and I love those very personal moments where we're able to tell the story of where our camping ministries and the work of the annual conference where we come together.
Yeah,
helps us grow in faith, but also take the blessing that we received and give it to others. So, thanks for giving your voice to that.
Thanks, Daniel.
Absolutely.
Thanks.
Lisa, thank you so much for joining us today on Pod Strangely Warm. Lisa Peterson, you are the incoming one of 3 lay leaders for the newly forming Horizon Texas Conference. And I say that with a question mark because I think that's right. And I think you think that's right? How long have you been serving in this newly formed role?
Maybe about 4 days, give or take. It's my understanding that each conference lay leader has been asked to come together and work as co-conference chairs for the Horizon Texas Conference. And because of family obligations, the lady who was the Northwest Texas lay leader has had to step back, and Bishop Sines called and asked if I would step up. And it's my understanding Bishop Nunn gave him the idea, so
you got 2 bishops to blame for this.
Oh, yeah. And that's easy,
I got to ask you, because as clergy, we receive calls from the bishop, too, with jobs to do, right? And those tend to take one of 3 forms, right? We'd like you to consider, we want to appoint you, or we are appointing you. When Bishop Sines called, which one of those 3 questions did you get about this co-conference chair?
It was more the middle one. It was a very strong suggestion that we need you here, we want you here, and we're all here to answer God's call, last I heard.
Absolutely.
And I asked for a little time to pray, to consider, and it felt like that's where I was supposed to go. So I've stepped back from a couple of other things, and I'll step forward into that.
Very good, and we are thankful. As we're all kind of making our way into the new horizon, and even though we've put many words to many pages of paper and had many incredible meetings, I'm thankful for your leadership as we go forward here. As you sit in this meeting in Abilene and see the conferences coming together kind of for the first time all in one room, what is the piece of the legacy of the Northwest Texas Conference, its heart, its spirit, its essence, that you hope becomes radically present in the newly forming Horizon Texas Conference?
You've looked at the map of the conference, of the districts, right? So the Northwest Texas Conference is now the Northwest Texas District. It's roughly the size of the rest of the conference. It's half of it. As a conference, we didn't have that many large churches. We have a lot of community churches, not even county seat churches, little churches, little spots along the interstate. These churches are the lifeblood of their communities. These are places that may have a membership of under 100. On Sunday morning, there may be 10 to 12. But these are the ones that plan a baccalaureate. These are the ones that, when a business goes under, reaches out to the employees and says, hey, what do you need? How do we get you from this job to that job with grace? How do we serve you? That is something Northwest Texas has done an amazing job of. Because these little places, as you look at a road map of this part of Texas, there are a whole lot of empty spots. or little bitty pencil lines. And there are churches in those little bitty pencil lines. They need care. These are people that during disaffiliation stood up on their back legs and said, we are United Methodists. We're not giving up that heritage. We're sorry if you don't want to play with us anymore. Be blessed as you go down a separate road, but we are who we are. And so my prayer is that the compassion and love for these little churches that Northwest Texas has always shown will continue.
Amen. I've served a couple of those churches and a couple of the county seats as well, and the ways in which a community is engaged and transformed through intentional radical presence is profound, right? It's not work that's going to show up on a spreadsheet, but it will change a community and its heart.
Correct. I'm a certified lay minister. So, and I serve the church at Trent. Every year when I fill out the reports, I sort of cringe because I've got more deaths than baptisms. Then again, I'm certified lay minister, so baptisms are a bit of a challenge. We don't lose members, but we don't really gain them because our town is losing population. But this is where, to me, the heart of United Methodism is. If our job is to care for our community. I heard a sermon this morning from an Anglican brotherhood. And part of what they were saying was, as Anglicans, we're charged not with, as Anglican priests, we're charged not with a community church. We're charged to be in mission to a community. It's not the ones it's everybody in the town, whether they ever darken the door or not. And that, I think, is who we're called to be. Amen. And that's who we try to be.
Amen. I pray that heart permeates the entirety of the Horizon Texas Conference. Lisa, thank you so much for everything you're committed to do, and thank you for taking a couple of minutes to stand with a guy you don't know with a microphone in front of a camera and say yes to one more thing in service of Jesus and the United Methodist Church.
It is my pleasure, and thank you, Daniel, for all you do. Everybody enjoyed your time with Bishop Beyonce.
Amen. Amen. Hey, Ricky, thank you so much for taking a few minutes to be with us on the podcast today. Ricky, tell me where you work and where we are.
Absolutely. So I serve as the University Chaplain at McMurray University, our United Methodist University right here in Abilene. We're here in the Civic Center in Abilene. We got to host last night a whole bunch of our friends who arrived early for a big welcome reception and party at the university, and we're here at the Convention Center doing all our business today.
This is just a one-day annual conference, right? Often annual conferences, multiple days, and yet it's a monumental annual conference. Tell me what it's like to be a part of the team that is hosting, whether it's at the university level or your relationship to the annual conference, having, more than 1,000 Methodists drop in your lap and probably more than a few asking you, hey, where should I eat? Where should I stay? What's going on? So tell us a little bit about that experience.
Absolutely. Well, it's exciting to be part of this historic moment, honestly, in United Methodism in the state of Texas as we reorganize for our future ahead of us. I serve at McMurray, and my wife serves at St. Paul United Methodist Church downtown, which hosts our clergy and our lady retreats. And so we've both been in the thick of everything from like, hey, which direction are the bathrooms in this building? How do I get around to the childcare? Or like, where's good places to go and eat or go and park? And which are the best hotels to stay at? So we've had a really great crew of folks at the university and at St. Paul and St. James, our local United Methodist congregations here in Abilene, who have helped in all the logistics, from our college students and church members who are handing out communion bags and cookies and welcoming people in the doors and into campus, to helping set up some of the preparation. So it's been a real privilege to get to be part of hosting this historic moment for our church.
That's pretty amazing and awesome. You said you were the university chaplain.
Yes.
Right? On the podcast over time, we've had our campus ministers on a number of times. The work we do on the college campus.
Yeah.
Shapes and form leadership for a new generation, shapes and form disciples. That's the season of life when many people are asking questions, big questions.
Yeah.
Can you help us understand the work of the university chaplain as in ways that kind of correspond with the work that we've heard witness of from our campus ministers, or ways that it might be unique in your role here?
Absolutely. So one of the things I absolutely love about the work I get to do is that I feel like I'm a campus minister integrated directly into the heart of the university. So McMurray is one of our 6 United Methodist colleges and universities in the state of Texas. And at McMurray, often our Wesley Foundations, our campus ministries are a little bit auxiliary to our other state or private schools. They're not integrated into, paid by the university, and so myself serving as a chaplain not only to the faculty and staff and the administration of the university, but working with students gives me a direct front door right into all our students on campus. So really, religious life is the only campus ministry at McMurray. We're a little bit unique in that faculty, and so we serve, like the last several weeks we do chapel on Tuesday mornings for students, and although we've got about 60 Methodist students on campus, we have 100 to 110 students in chapel every week. So what it does is really open those doors to allow us to serve students from all different backgrounds, which provides such a rich diversity of experience and spiritual development to reach students who otherwise, don't normally just walk into the doors of our United Methodist congregations if they're not looking for that, right? So it's a real rich ministry.
That's really cool. And McMurray, catch me if I'm wrong, is your alma mater.
Yes, McMurray is my alma mater. I graduated in 2014 and then went off to do my MDiv out of Duke Divinity School in North Carolina. Came back to serve local congregations in Wise County in North Texas for the last 7 years. And then a year ago, had the privilege, our previous chaplain retired, and the university called and said, would you consider coming back to serve your alma mater? And it's, a special kind of life privilege to get to go back. You don't often get to go back and serve your home church. It feels like that in a way to me, right? A place that was so formative and impactful for me to get to go back and pour into a new generation of students, to serve side by side with those faculty and staff members that are still there from when I was a student is just one of the greatest ministry privileges of a lifetime.
That is really cool. I hope they're kinder to you than Jesus' hometown was for him.
Yes, much kinder. The most odd thing has been getting comfortable calling like the faculty members by their first name. As a student, it's Dr. So-and-so and Dr. So-and-so, and so they say, well, no, we're colleagues now. You have to call me, call me John or Phil or, and so, okay, yes. But, there's a certain level of like you've poured into me, but it's really neat getting to work as colleagues alongside them now. So it's a really rich opportunity.
We had the president of McMurray give greetings to the annual conference this morning. As a part of that, she threw a little shade your way. And you graduated in 2014, right? Which tells me that, you are, 32-ish?
About to be 33 in a couple weeks.
Okay. Can you share with us a little bit how she threw shade your way? And what is your typical response when she goes there?
So, at McMurray, we've got the name badges, and if you're an alumni, which you have a lot of alumni that come back to serve on faculty and staff, they add your graduation year to the end of your name badge. And so mine says Reverend Ricky Harrison, 14. And she said, now, a lot of people think that's his age.
Oh.
Which I get all the time. I had some alumni on campus last night that said, are you old enough to be the chaplain? I said, well, they still card me for radar movies and have to look at my driving, so get it all the time. I love it. It's always good to look young. Working with the students keeps you young, and so it's a real gift. I love it.
I had my 40th birthday last week, so know that looking young, it will be a benefit to you because there will be existential crises that come later. Ricky, thank you so much for your time today, and thank you on behalf of everyone in Abilene for the radical hospitality you've shown to our Horizon Texas Conference.
Well, thank you all. Welcome to Abilene, and we're so excited for the next season of our church together.
Amen. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thanks, man.
Keaton, thank you so much for hopping on the podcast today. You're one of our student representatives here at Annual Conference. Help me know a little bit about where is home for you? What church brought you here?
I'm from Van Alstyne, Texas. I used to live in Denton, but we came out here in Van Alstyne because of my dad, and he's a head pastor over there. So.
Oh, very good. The PK life.
The PK life, yes, sir.
It's a good deal. I am a PK. My mom didn't become a preacher, though, until my senior year of high school. Oh, wow. So I had a long period of not being a PK, and then fun. Just like a little more fun. I got to grow up without people know who I was, right, yeah. Which is a handy thing. That may help answer this question, but why are you given a whole Saturday in the fall when college football and all kinds of other things are happening right now to be here at Abilene at the annual conference?
Well, I would be right now on the couch watching the A&M and Arkansas game right now, but I came here because my dad, we came here on Thursday for the clergy retreat, and I'm also here for a tour at ACU and McMurray. And I just came here because I know that the youth here are really, really, really passionate about this conference, and we want to help so many people and so many youth have a voice in this conference more than anything. It's really cool. I really love coming here and meeting more and more people every year.
Having the voice of our young people in our conference is incredibly important. It's why we named one of the strategic priorities to champion children and youth, right? One of the things that got lifted up, we just had the budget conversation, right, here. As most annual conference conversations did, it went about 20 minutes longer than it needed to, but that's all right. But a big chunk of our budget in the newly forming conference is toward championing children and youth, with a good chunk of that going to our ongoing camping ministries. What camp did you grow up going to, and tell me about a moment from camp that just sticks in your memory?
So I started when I was in the 5th grade, and then I didn't get to go to Bridgeport. That's where I went 5th grade. And I came back from CYLP. I was introduced as being a counselor there for little kids. And then last year I did my first mixed age camp for middle school and high school. And I got to be a counselor there. I got to make more friends. And a memory that I've always stuck with me was last year. And I've had a call to ministry since I was 13 years old, and people know me as the PK, wanted to be a pastor, and they've always asked me to be worship. So I get a guitar and I start singing a Reckless Love. Reckless Love is a big, giant song on camps, and you see a lot of people crying, you see a lot of people having a good time, and I got to be that purpose, and I got to help invoke that cryingness to help people invoke a thought of Jesus in their mind. Yeah. And I love doing that. I love showing the Creator that made us who we are today, and I love showing the love that He created us to show others. Yeah, that memory is always in my mind, just singing that song so loud and making them sing so loud. Like I would just stop singing, I can hear like the church choir, I can hear anything like other than myself for hours and hours. It's just amazing hearing other people sing Jesus' love to everyone.
It is an incredible thing. It happens at camps. It even happens in annual conferences, right?
Oh, yeah.
You were here as a part of the clergy retreat with your dad, and I hope you got to sit in on worship for a couple of those moments.
Oh, I was here the first day. The first day, second day, my dad said I could sleep in, so I slept in a little bit.
Oh no, the early morning worship was quite amazing, and one of those moments where you got a lot of people in a room that had great acoustics, and it just. The worship echoed off the walls. And there's something powerful that.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm thankful that Camping Ministries is a place where you get to experience that, you get to lead that, and grow in vocation, right?
Oh, yeah.
Serving Jesus is a thing of our lifetimes, not just once I've graduated college and applied to seminary and I'm going to, it's a place where you get to do that for your whole life. As you think toward the formation of the Horizon Texas Conference, right? That's what we've been doing today.
Oh, yeah.
What is one hope you have for the future as a young person in our midst?
To not be just adults, not just be teenagers, not just kids, but to be unified as the children of God. It's not just adults that do this, it's also teens, and it's not just teens that do this, it's also kids. And I want each and every person to have that voice of God, have that voice of a children of God, because that's what He created us to be. And that's what I want for the Unifying Conference, is that we all just become one voice and become one conference showing other people love.
Amen. Keaton just took us to church. And so if you see Keaton at any of these things, give him a shout out. Know that in about 10 years, he may be your preacher. And so we are thankful for you, Keaton. Thanks for taking time and being with us on the podcast today.
Thank you so much, sir.
Appreciate you. Hey, Pod Strangers and Warren family, we are back no matter what Dustin did before this with Marcus, because it's an annual conference. It's a Methodist conference. Therefore, Marcus must be on the podcast.
That's a fact.
And today, we got not only got Marcus on the podcast, we got Marcus a spiffy new job within the newly forming Horizon Texas Annual Conference. You're like one of the head honchos now. Tell me about what it means to be the leader of the fellowship of the local pastors.
I feel honored, honestly, and it really was. I mean, to be able to represent my colleagues in that fashion, to the Board of Ordained Ministry, but also to ensure that our needs and the things that we desire as clergy, as local pastors and associate members are being lifted up, as well as all of the other clergy. And so it feels good to be trusted to lead that, so I'm excited for it.
Oh, that's a big deal, dude.
Yeah.
I'm excited. And the way it worked out, the order of the elders chair, the order of the deacons chair, and the leader of the fellowship of local pastors and associate members, we had a leader from each legacy conference.
Yep.
And so your Central Texas proud is in the midst of that. And so we're proud of you in the midst of that. It's a unique role, I think, as somebody living on the college campus to have that role within the United Methodist system.
Yeah.
What does it say as one of our campus ministers to not just be trusted on the campus, but to be elevated to a place of leadership about like maybe what we value on the campus and the campus ministry?
No, absolutely. And I think it shows for our students who are in the discernment process about how to live out their call and exercise their gifts and graces that we acknowledge you in all areas of your discernment process. Whereas, in times past, there may have been conversations about which particular path to take, and being able to be on the ground floor, as I like to call campus ministry, of helping young people begin to discern it, to have the discernment process is an honor. And for them to see me serving in that capacity also gives them hope that their representation is also in the rooms where it needs to be.
Very good. We had Ricky on just a little bit earlier, living in that role of campus chaplain here at McMurray in Abilene, and also playing a role in helping host annual conference. What amazing thing is UTA going to do when the day comes that annual conference meets in Arlington to make sure that all of us experience wonderful hospitality?
Well, listen, UTA is the 5th most diverse campus in the United States.
Really?
Yeah, in the United States. And so we have an effectual opportunity to lift up that because it's one of our pillars of our new conference. And so in what ways that we'll get to do it, we don't know yet, but we will be at the front of doing that. So excited about that. But also soon Arlington will be very central to the 2 larger groups that are coming together, Dallas, namely Fort Worth on the other side.
Right.
And so what way can we stand in the middle with young people lifting up the opportunity to host? And so that might be on the horizons as well.
Well, there we go.
I did there?
Hey. Everybody's working in the horizons pun. That's just the way it works. We are making our way toward the horizon. Now, who's one amazing human you've met in the midst of this process of getting to know, like
Just
somebody you
one?
did? Well, okay, fair. Yeah.
No, just one. Now, I'm going to pull out this person's card because that's how I remember their name. Reverend Katie Meek.
Oh, Katie's amazing.
I'm so looking forward to working with her, getting her over to the Wesley to talk about the ways that our young people can get engaged in missions. And so her and I had a really good conversation. Yeah. And so just really looking forward to it. Because so many of our young people are interested in mission work. We go on a mission trip to Costa Rica twice a year. And so excited for that opportunity to have someone who's boots on the ground and come share with us. But she was an amazing person for sure that I met.
That is amazing. I'm curious about like driving home. Normally we think Horizon, we're driving west, right? Mm-hmm. Technically there's Horizons driving east too. Yeah. So no matter which way we go on I-20 getting out of here today, we are headed toward the horizon.
Absolutely. And the good thing for me is it's a straight shot.
Get on 20, just keep going.
Keep going.
Marcus, we got to keep finding ourselves these way. It's so good to see you. Thanks for always being willing to hop on the podcast. And
for sure.
Know that we are praying with and for you as you continue to do amazing work, both with the fellowship and at UTA.
Thank you very much.
Absolutely. Appreciate you.
For sure.
That's a wrap. Here from Abilene. We've had amazing conversations with amazing folks in this room that is just to my right here. We have voted on many amazing things. We've helped shape and form the Horizon Texas Conference, which will be something beautiful and new, but is also a continued expression of something that is distinctly Methodist. We have channeled our inner United Methodist annual conference. We've had overly prolonged debates over simple things. We have had moments where we didn't really read our preliminary report as much as we should, but we've also had powerful worship and beautiful unity and an invitation to the next step forward, which I leave this day giving thanks for. And so I hope and pray that you will join with us next week as we make our way, continuing on this journey toward the horizon with an amazing Horizon Texas Conference Essentials Draft. You're going to want to be there. We got people from every legacy conference and a Reuben Signs fantasy drafting essentials for the Horizon Texas Conference. Until next time, I'm Daniel Hawkins. This is Pod Strangely Warmed. This has been Pod Strangely Warmed. If you enjoyed our conversation today, know that you can find us anywhere you find podcasts. On Spotify, Apple Podcast, YouTube, any and all the places, we are there. So if you want to continue the good United Methodist conversation that you've been a part of today, find us, like us, rate us, review us, and share with a friend so that the good news that is happening right here in our own midst can amplify even more. And this is Kylie Campbell. Come here, Kylie. And this is Kyland Dobbins, who's now not wanting to get in the picture. Hey. They were just dancing behind the camera, trying to mess me up in the middle of it. And so,
well, what about me? I love to get a microphone. I'm a preacher. I love to be in front of a camera. You know what I mean? So,
introducing the new host of Pod Strangely Warmed, Kyland.
Yes,
Dobbins.
Kyland Dobbins. Here I am, folks. I'm coming right back at you soon.